Today is Saturday, July 16th, 2022. For those of you who are new here, I have inattentive ADHD, cerebral palsy, major depressive disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. I also suspect that I may be autistic, although that has not been officially diagnosed. I'm on 10 milligrams of the antidepressant Trintellix for anxiety and depression, and 12.5 milligrams of the stimulant medication mydayis for inattentive ADHD, although I have not taken either of those medications in nearly a week now because my sleep schedule is so out of control. I've been going to sleep really late and consequently waking up really late, like around noon, sometimes a little bit before noon. But either way, if I take my medication anytime after like 9 a.m., especially the stimulant medication, I just won't sleep at night. It'll keep me up. So for that reason, because my sleep schedule is so messed up, I've just been skipping the medication, and I've also been skipping the antidepressant, which I'm not sure why, because when it comes to the antidepressant, I can really take it at any time during the day, but I guess I'm just so used to taking both medications at the same time that I feel like if I'm not going to take the stimulant, then I might as well not take the antidepressant, which is kind of dumb, but it is what it is. And then I feel like I've been kind of dissociating a lot, like I'm not really here. I'm on autopilot. I feel like if I lay down right now, I could probably go to sleep for the rest of the day. So I have a hard time waking up in the morning. And when I do wake up, if I lay there and close my eyes, I will very easily fall back asleep. So I've been waking up almost like around noon, and I have to force myself to get up and do things and get out of bed. Otherwise, I could just stay asleep. And I suspect that part of that feeling so lethargic and tired and the lack of energy has probably a lot to do with me skipping my stimulant medication, probably some sort of withdrawal symptom, right? Um, because I no longer have that kind of boost to help wake me up in the morning. And anyway, um, I hope that I can get my sleep schedule back under control soon so that I can keep taking my medication the way that I'm supposed to. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about dealing with difficult people and how difficult that is for someone who has major social anxiety and depression and low self-esteem and all of these other conditions that I deal with. In a previous video, I was talking about how I've always been a people pleaser, and I always tend to stretch myself very thin, and that I have a hard time setting boundaries and saying no to people when they need something from me. And that's something that I have been actively working on in therapy, kind of setting boundaries and learning when I'm kind of taking on too much and learning to take a step back and kind of try to prioritize my mental health, which is still a work in progress. And so, if you've been kind of following my mental health journey, uh, you know that I work part time as a reading specialist, that I have an 8-year-old son. I don't drive. I have major social anxiety, and I also run a side business from home. I'm a graphic designer, and I make custom t-shirts, invitations, posters, prints, anything that really has to do with graphic design and printed media. I tend to work. I do that very much on a freelance basis. And I also have an Etsy shop that I run. And so last month in June, a friend of my mom's got a hold of me. She texted me actually, no, this was probably like late May that she got a hold of me and told me that they were planning a funeral for a friend of her family's who had recently passed away from cancer. And she wanted um, custom t-shirts for the memorial. She wanted custom t-shirts with like a picture of the lady who had passed away and some text at the top of the picture, the bottom of the picture, and something on the back of the shirt as well. And so we were kind of texting back and forth, and I said, well, I can't really give you a quote until you tell me about how many t-shirts you're going to need and exactly what you want on each shirt, because I need to know how many transfer sheets I'm going to be wasting, using, and how many sheets of vinyl or how much heat transfer vinyl I'm going to be using before I can give you a quote. And so we were kind of texting back and forth, and then after a while, she just stopped replying. So this was sometime in May. So then I just figured, I don't know, that they had decided not to go with the t-shirts, or maybe they had found the t-shirts somewhere else. And then, like mid-June last month, one of her friends who was closer to the lady who had passed away. I think the lady who had passed away was like his niece or something. I didn't know him, but he contacted me and he said, did Ariana contact you about the t-shirts for the memorial? And I said, yes, she did last month, but she never got back to me about exactly what she wants on the shirts and how many. And so we never really moved forward with the order. And then he says, it's been kind of a mess, trying to gather like all the people that want the shirts. And so he wanted to get it started because he didn't want things to be done last minute, because the funeral was going to be this month, July 14th. And so that was mid-June that he got in contact with me. And so we kind of texted back and forth about the design, and he finally sent me like a mock-up of what he wanted, and I tweaked some things around and sent him my mock-up, and he approved. He said that looked good. Let's talk prices. And he said he was going to want about 100 t-shirts. And that's a big order. And typically for something like that, I will ask for at least a month in advance notice, if not longer, because I don't have a printer that will print directly on the t-shirts. I don't do screen printing. The way that I make my custom t-shirts is I use heat transfer vinyl, and I use transfer paper for any photos or images that are going to go on the t-shirt. And transfer paper is essentially, it's kind of like iron-on, but it's a better quality paper. But the point is that if you know, or if you've ever seen t-shirts be made with heat transfer vinyl, you know that you have to cut them. And for that, I use my Cricut machine to cut the wording on the vinyl. And then I have to go through the process of weeding the vinyl, which takes a really long time. And then I have to print the images, press it on the t-shirts. Point being that the way that I make my shirts using this heat transfer vinyl and transfer paper method takes a long time. It's not like I could just make a shirt in 5 minutes and be done with it. It takes a really long time. And so when he said that he was going to need 100 shirts, I should have been more upfront with him and told him, I don't know if the t-shirts are going to be done on time. I have to see, because on top of the fact that he needed all these shirts, he also wanted a very specific color of t-shirts. He wanted them all to be in lavender. And so I typically go to downtown LA, which is a little over an hour away from where I live, and I have to get a ride because I don't drive, right? So I go to this warehouse place where I can get the t-shirts on wholesale. So I get them for a lower price than what you would typically would find them as. But I knew that I had seen lavender shirts there before. I just wasn't sure about the sizes. And so immediately I should have said, you know what, I have to look into getting you those t-shirts. I have to see what sizes they have available. I have to, if you give me time to do some research, I can let you know whether or not they'll be done on time. But because I'm very much a people pleaser and I didn't think about that right away, I said, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. I can do that. This was mid-June that he was talking about getting an order of like over 100 t-shirts from me, right? He sent me the design. He approved it. I approved it. He approved my design once I made some changes to it. He said we were good to go. I told him I needed at least a deposit of a half of the total amount that he owed me so that I could get started on the t-shirts, because obviously I need money so that I can buy the blank t-shirts, the heat transfer vinyl, the transfer paper, and everything that I need, all the materials, so I can get started on the order. And so let me kind of walk you guys through what happened when I was trying to get this order kind of all figured out. Um, I'm looking through my messages real quick so that I can get like a better idea of the timeline. So June 17th was when he sent me the picture of the lady and the design. And then we made some changes. And then June 19th, he said, that looks great. Let's talk prices. And I asked him, how many are you going to need? And then he called me. He told me he needed about 100 t-shirts. And then he asked me for my email address so he could send me a spreadsheet of how many t-shirts he was going to need and in what sizes. So that was on June 19th that I asked him, do you have an idea of how many you're going to need? And he didn't respond. And then a couple days later, on June 23rd, he called me and told me he was going to need the 100 t-shirts, asked me for my email address so he could send me the spreadsheet. So he sent me the spreadsheet. So time is passing, right? This was June 23rd at about almost 9 o'clock that he sent me the spreadsheet. And then I responded and I told him I had it and that I needed the half deposit so I could get started on his order. He did not respond after that. Then June 30th, almost a week later, he said, please send me your address so I can drop off the money. And so he sent me this at like 5:51 p.m. on Thursday, June 30th. Mind you, he wanted these t-shirts by July 14th. So this was like 2 weeks away from the actual event for the 100 shirts that he wanted, and he still hadn't dropped off the deposit. So when he texted me on June 30th telling me he was going to drop off the deposit, I was actually in the middle of one of my reading sessions. I was at work, so I work part-time as a reading specialist, right? So I was at one of my students' homes tutoring her. And I told her, I'm not home right now. I'll be home around 7:30. But if you want to drop off the deposit, my mom and my sister are home. So there's always there someone there that you can give the deposit to. He didn't respond. So a couple days later, on July 3rd, I messaged him and I said, I hope all is well. I haven't heard back since Thursday. I'm just wondering if we're still on for the shirts. He said yes. I said, well, just making sure. When can you drop off the deposit? I'll be restocking my inventory soon, and I want to buy the blank t-shirt so that I have some, time to make the shirts. Again, this was July 3rd, so that was really only giving me 11 days to make a total of 100 shirts. So I should have been more upfront about things and have told him at this point, I don't think I could have them done for you in like 10 days, right? So July 3rd, he said, give me about an hour and I will go and drop off the money. So he stopped by my house. Then he texted me like around 10, it was 10:15 at night on July 3rd and said, we're outside and I have the money. Are you home? So I was like falling asleep at that point. But yeah, I got up and I grabbed the deposit, and he told me it's been chaotic with planning, his niece's funeral and everything. And I told him I understood. He apologized for kind of having everything last minute. So again, he dropped off the deposit July 3rd at like 10:15 p.m. So the following day was a holiday, July 4th, so I couldn't go to downtown LA to the warehouse where I usually go buy the shirts because it was closed. So then I had to wait till July 5th to go with my mom. Actually, my mom went to the warehouse for me to look for the shirts. I gave her a copy of the spreadsheet, and I told her these are the sizes that he needs, and he wants them all in lavender. And when he dropped off the deposit that night, I told him, I don't know if they have the lavender colors in certain sizes. Like, for example, the larger sizes, like the 3X and the 4X, they might not have them. And he said, well, that's fine. I understand because it's kind of last minute. And if anything, just make them in black or make the t-shirts black or white or whatever. So I thought that we had an understanding because that's what he said to me uh, when he stopped by and we were talking like in person when he came to drop off the deposit. So on July 5th, when my mom went down to the warehouse with a list of shirts to downtown LA, he she told me that they didn't have any of the kid sizes in lavender. They only had the kid sizes in black or white t-shirts. And then they didn't have any of the larger sizes, just like I had suspected. They didn't have anything larger than 2X. So they had the small, medium, large, extra large, and 2X in lavender, but they didn't have the 3X or the 4X. So I told her just buy what they have there now, and I'll get started on those. And in the meantime, I'll research to see where I can get the rest of the shirts in lavender, right? So July 6th, at this point, I had like a big chunk of the blank t-shirts at home, but I was still missing those specific sizes that I mentioned earlier. And so I looked up online where I could buy them, and I found that I could buy some of the t-shirts on at Michael's Arts and Crafts, and then the kids sizes and the larger sizes I could buy them at jiffyshirts.com, I think was the website. But the thing about that, when I ordered them, is it turns out that they sent the different sizes from different warehouses. So the 3X was sent from a warehouse. It was shipped out from a warehouse in like Idaho, and then like the kit sizes were shipped out from another warehouse in a different state, right? So they were all the shirts that I ordered online were being shipped out at different times from different locations, so they weren't all going to get here at the same time. Anyway, he messaged me again Friday, July 8th, right? So I ordered the rest of the shirts online on July 6th, and he said, how's the order? When can I pick up? Now, mind you, this was only like 2 days after he dropped off the deposit. I don't know how fast he thought that I could work, but that's not enough time to finish 100 shirts, right? And I told him I'm still working on them. Should be done before your um, before the funeral. So he wanted them by the 14th. I told him I'll let you know as soon as it's done. I was having trouble finding some of the sizes, so I ordered them online. So I'm waiting for them to come in. He said, "Oh, okay, thank you." Um, and that same day, he stopped by to drop off the remainder of the money that he owed me. And then on Tuesday, he said, let me know when the shirts are ready for pickup. So this was on Tuesday. What day was Tuesday? Tuesday, July 12th. And I told him, I'll let you know. Some of the youth shipments are delayed because some of the kids' shirts were taking longer than I thought to get here, right? But I told them I was hoping they would get here today, but the delivery shows tomorrow, so I'll just make those in white. Because, like I said, I thought we had an understanding that I could make some of the t-shirts in white, and he like very rudely responded, no, I don't want white. And I said, okay, what about black? And he said, no, that's why I gave you the deposit. So we were not trying to do this last minute, not black either. That wasn't the agreement. And I said, well, I thought we had agreed if I couldn't find some of the sizes in lavender, then white would be okay. I initially was having trouble finding the 3X and 4X, and then I found them online and I ordered the kit sizes online as well. But I can refund the kit sizes, or I can finish them tomorrow when they get here and give you what or we have now. Let me know what you would like to do, right? And he said, what time tomorrow? We're going to use them Thursday and Friday morning, so we have time. I just need you to be upfront with me, and I will understand. But this back and forth is not the business. That's what he said. Like, this is not the business. Like, if I was, I don't know, playing him somehow. And I sent him a screenshot of the shipment, which said on there, uh, delivery will arrive tomorrow, July 13th by 7 p.m. And I said, here's the tracking information. It's showing that it's going to arrive tomorrow by 7. And he said, well, when did you order them? Why did you take so long to order them? It's been 2 weeks that I gave you the deposit. Clearly, he has a very bad sense of time because he gave me the deposit, like I said, July 3rd, on the night of July 3rd. And on there, the screenshot that I sent him, it said I had placed that order Wednesday, July 6th. So literally like 2 or 3 days after he gave me the deposit, when I found out that those sizes weren't available at the warehouse where I usually buy them. And so I told him clearly, I said, and I walked him through everything. I told him, no, you gave me the deposit July 3rd. I couldn't go to the warehouse till July 5th. And then I got the shirts that they had on, there, but they didn't have 3X or 4X or kid sizes. So I had to do some research to see where I could buy all the sizes, and I bought them online. Typically, for an order of 100 plus shirts, I would get started at least a month in advance. I understand that this was all last minute for you as well, but you only gave me like 8 or 9 days to work on your shirts, and we're just doing the best that we can. I can't really control when the shipments get here. So this was Tuesday that we were kind of messaging back and forth. This was on Tuesday, July 12th, right? And so he needed them by July 14th. And the last shipment was scheduled to get here Wednesday, July 13th. So I told them I'll have him done by the 13th. As soon as the shipment gets here, we'll finish those up, and I'll let you know as soon as they're ready, as soon as your order is ready for pickup. And so Wednesday morning at about 10:52 a.m., he sent me a message and said, which ones are you waiting for? Let me know and I can get them for you today. As if he could just go out to some random store and just find blank lavender kit size shirts anywhere, which you can't, because I've been doing this for a long time, and there are certain colors that you just can't find in stores. You have to special order them or order them online and wait for them to come in, which is what I was doing. So he sent me that message Wednesday at 10:52 a.m. And like I said, because I've been missing my medication, I've been waking up late. So I woke up around 11:30. I saw his message, and I also saw that my mom had messaged me and told me that the shirts were finally here. The last shipment of kids' t-shirts that we were waiting for. And I told him the kids' shirts finally came in. I will finish those up as well as the ones that I'm working on now, and I will let you know as soon as your order is ready for pickup. I told them it was going to be, that same day, but I wasn't sure exactly what time we were going to be done. So 2 days later, 2 hours later, he decides to show up at my doorstep. I didn't message him. I didn't tell him that the order was ready. He just decides to show up, and the door was open, and he just kind of peeks in and says, "Is my order ready?" And so, who does that, right? I clearly told him I would let him know, and I was still working on cutting and weeding out the heat transfer vinyl. I still had quite a few t-shirts to finish up. And thankfully, I had my aunt, my mom, and my sister, and my niece. They were all helping me finish up this huge order of 100+ shirts. So the fact that he walked in, kind of showed up at my doorstep unannounced, to me, he was just it seemed like he was trying to intimidate us and kind of trying to rush us because, we weren't working as fast as he wanted us to work. So the point is, it was a very kind of stressful and nerve-wracking situation. He walked in, and I don't do well with confrontation. I've never been very assertive. I've never been good at standing up for myself. I kind of froze for a second, and then I told him I'm still cutting and weeding the heat transfer vinyl. We're still working on the shirts. And he said, "Well, just let me know when they're done." He left, right? So we finished up the shirts, and it was 7 or 8 at night on July 13th, which was still the night before he needed them, right? So I messaged him, and I left the shirts with my sister, and I said, "You give him the shirts because I don't feel like seeing him right now," because I was feeling sick. I've noticed a pattern when I stress out a lot. I tend to, not only do I forget to eat, but I tend to get a migraine, which then causes nausea, which then makes me throw up. And that's what happened. I finished the order. I tried to lie down because I had a really bad migraine, and I just ended up throwing up for a while. And then I felt better. So I think that's kind of the anxiety probably kicking in, making me get the migraines. And because this was a very stressful situation, especially for someone who deals with social anxiety. So that is the nightmare that has been the past 3 or 4 days. We were working on making 100 shirts, for 3 days straight, and it was a mess and a nightmare, but we finally finished. Although I really should have been more assertive from the very beginning, and I should have said, "The time frame that you're giving me, it's not realistic. You didn't drop off the deposit soon enough." But because I do have those people-pleasing tendencies, I decided to take on the job anyway, and we got everything done on time, barely, but it was very, very, very exhausting, and yeah, it was like living hell for the past 3 days trying to get this order out. And yeah, I guess that's it for now. I will be back.